Good evening. A woman will face 2 first-degree murder charges in a wrong-way crash on I-25 that killed a Santa Fe police officer and retired Las Vegas firefighter. A Santa Fe district court judge said the charges fit the crime. After listening to hours of evidence today, including witness testimony and new dash cam video that shows the suspect put a lot of lives in danger that day.
I refused to look at the scene because at that point I was pretty sure there was a fatality, and I also was going into shock.
The state relying on witnesses, testimony, evidence, and dash cam video to make the case to try Janine Jaramillo on first-degree murder charges. She's accused of driving the wrong way down I-25, causing the crash that killed Santa Fe police officer Robert Duran and retired firefighter Frank Levanto. New dash cam video from Santa Fe police officer Michael Romero shows the moments officers catch up with Jaramillo. They eventually make their way to I-25, where you can see cars are pulled over as she drives the wrong way down the highway. As the officers cross over onto the other side of the highway, Romero turns around, following Jaramillo from the other side of the highway.
What's going on right now that we can't see in the video?
The car crashed into another vehicle, like sideswiped a vehicle.
After the crash, Officer Romero says Jaramillo gets out of the car.
What do we see here?
You see a female come out of the driver's side and run towards the other officer.
The state also played dash cam video from a semi-truck driver showing Jaramillo flying by. A fraction of a second later, the crash happens in the distance. The defense suggested the police should have called off the chase.
At any point in this pursuit, did your commanding officers give the directive to discontinue the pursuit?
No, they did not.
They also pointed out that Jaramillo wasn't directly involved in the crash that killed Officer Duran and Levanto. Now, the judge determined there was enough evidence to proceed to trial with 8 charges filed in the case, including making a false report after police say Jaramillo lied about being kidnapped after causing the crash. But the judge dropped one of the counts of great bodily injury by vehicle, saying the injuries suffered by a Santa Fe police officer were not significant enough to match the standards of great bodily injury. The officer testified 2 of his internal organs suffered swelling as a result of the crash. The hearing also revealed more about what led to the chase. It all started at the Vizcaya Apartments off Sawmill Road when someone called 911 saying a woman was being kidnapped. Many were wondering how the caller could think there was someone else in the car if Jaramillo was found alone at the crash site. But a man who says he was in a relationship with Jaramillo admitted he was in the car with her.
Well, I didn't want to get out of the car because I didn't want to get stranded here in Santa Fe.
Okay.
She kept asking me to get out. I kept telling her no. And then she pulled up to some guy that was standing there and asked him to call the police.
He said they had been doing drugs the night before.